Guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Din and I'm going to show you how to prepare your ingredients, mix the spices and then cook the dish. Very simple method I'm going to use, so please follow the instructions carefully. So let's cook. Here I've listed all the ingredients you'll need, so pause the video and write down everything before we get started. Right, first I'm going to show you how to cut the chicken. I always use a whole chicken because you can use the bones and that for stock or so on. If you're not using the bones at this precise moment, freeze them. Then when you need them to make a base gravy or stock, you can just take them out the freezer and use it. But as you can see, chop the chicken up into not too small but medium-sized pieces. Clean and get ready your chicken. This is going to be a chicken jalfrezi. I've kind of devised this jalfrezi so you can cook it all in one pot without the need of a base gravy. So follow the instructions carefully and make sure you have everything listed so that you get the right flavors required. This is a really lovely dish and your friends and family will enjoy it. So basically, like this, what I'm doing is getting the onions ready, what I'm going to put in at the end, like 5 minutes at the end, just to give a little bit of texture to our dish. So get 3/4 cup of oil and let that heat up before we put in our gram masalas, like our bay leaves and so on. After the oil is heated, add your Star Anise seed, 4 bay leaves, a teaspoon of black pepper, 5 cardamom and 3 pieces of cinnamon stick. Fry those for a couple of minutes until the flavours are released in the oil. Then add your garlic and ginger paste, about 40 grams of that. Let that cook a little, maybe about 10 seconds or so before you put in your onions. Now what we're going to do is basically stew the onions down a little bit so they soften before we start the next process, and add our grated tomato. So have your grated tomato ready as well. Use a grater for this and just grate it and add that to it. So add your grated tomato, your 2 teaspoons of salt and 4 fresh green chillies. And also a tablespoon of tomato paste. I found this nice tomato paste what I use in a Moroccan shop. It's very nice, and this is my second jar, would you believe. I normally don't use tomato paste, but I'm finding this one really nice and it really enhances the flavour. So find yourself a really good quality tomato paste and use that when you're cooking your curries. If you've got some left over and you're not going to make curry for a while, then just freeze it. We put it in ice cubes and freeze it. That way you won't waste any and it will last for much longer. Anyway, give that a good stir and let that stew a little bit more before we add our chicken. So add the chicken, your 870 gram of deboned chicken. If it's a little bit more, don't worry, it's fine. Just carry on with the process. Give that a good stir and let that stew a little bit before we're going to add the water. In the meantime, boil some water in a kettle because we don't want to add cold water. We want to keep the process cooking. So this will cook for a few minutes before we add our water. This chicken jalfrezi is a very delicious dish and it's really nice. You must make it to the recipe to really get the flavors from this dish, and you'll be surprised how lovely it is. Without making a base gravy, you can create a chicken jalfrezi in one pot. Normally what I would do is cook a lentil dish with this as well, and maybe peas pilau rice, and it goes down really lovely. Okay, we're nearly ready now. We're going to add our water, about I would say in this amount of chicken, probably about half a cup, because the reason we add in the water is basically so it doesn't stick to the bottom while it's cooking for the next 20-25 minutes. Okay, add the water like you see, just so it's at the same level as the chicken basically. So in your pot it may be a little bit more you will need, so just play it by eye basically. So once it's nice and boiled, turn it down to medium heat and let it simmer cook for about 25 minutes. Right, after 25 minutes, we're going to put in our spices. This is half a teaspoon of Gram Masala and 1.5 teaspoon of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and also a teaspoon of Kashmiri chilly. Now at this stage you want to taste the heat, see if it's hot enough, the chilli. If it isn't, then add a little bit more chilli, but not the Kashmiri, add just the red chilli powder. That will give you the heat as well. We're going to cook down the spices a little before we add our final ingredients for this Jalfrezi dish. So this will cook for about 10-15 minutes like this, so that all the spices cook out. I've got now, as you can see, I've chopped up some capsicum, some red and some green, and also we've got some fresh coriander as well, what we're going to put in. But once we put these ingredients in, we're only going to cook this for about 5 minutes, so they still stay whole, the capsicums and the onion we're going to put in. Taste for salt as well, just to make sure, and also, like I said, taste for the heat as well, if it's to your temperature, because everyone likes it different. Some like it a little bit hotter, some like it a little bit milder, but this is how I like it. So do it like this first and see the chili content. If it's right for you, then leave it. If you need a little bit more, then add a little bit more chili. Right, add some methi leaves now at this stage. This is looking good, the texture is nice. Right, after about 15 minutes, as you can see, the oil has come to the top and we're ready to finish off this dish. This part will be very quickly. We just add our red and green capsicum and our diced onion and a few pieces of fresh tomato and our fresh coriander. Give this a good stir and then put in 1 cup of boiling hot water. We're going to bring this to the boil and cook for a good couple of minutes, then turn it down and a few more minutes and it's done. Just turn it off. We want to keep the capsicum and the onion quite whole, so it gives the curry the texture of a jalfrezi. And that's it, all done. Now enjoy and let me know what you think. And hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye for now.